Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. I'm here today to show you how to make your own made-to-measure hair towel wrap. You will need a towel and a piece of elastic, a pair of fabric shears, pins, some matching thread and a needle. You can sew this project by hand, but it will be much quicker if you have a sewing machine or an overlocker. Let's start by taking 3 measurements. You can use a seamstress's tape, but if you don't have one of those, you can just use a ribbon and a ruler. First, you want to measure from one ear over your head to the other ear. This is how deep the towel wrap will be, so if you like it to come right down over your ears, measure from the bottom of one ear to the bottom of the other. If you are using a ribbon, you can use a pin to mark the length, otherwise just write down the measurement. Secondly, you will need to measure the circumference of your head, from the nape of your neck to the top of your forehead. I'm using a different coloured pin to mark this length. Lastly, you will need to measure the length of your hair. Flick your hair over your head and measure from your forehead to the tips of your hair. I'm adding a little extra as I sometimes let my hair grow a bit longer. Once you have these 3 measurements, we can use them to determine what size to cut the fabric. I'm laying the ribbon beside a ruler to get the lengths I measured in centimetres. Firstly, I will take the ear-to-ear measurement and divide it in half, because each piece of fabric will only cover half the head. Then I will add 1 centimetre of seam allowance. I'm going to make use of the rolled edge already on the towel, which is why I've only accounted for 1 seam. That gives me 18 centimetres. Next, I will take the head circumference and divide it in half. Again, each piece of fabric only covers half the head. This time I will add 2 centimetres of seam allowance, since we will have to account for a seam on both ends of this measurement. I will also add the length of hair to this measurement, which gives us a total of 79 centimetres, which I will round up to 80 centimetres. Now to transfer those 2 measurements to the fabric. Take your towel and fold it lengthwise on a clean, flat surface. Pin the long edges together. Using a small plate or similar round object, place it on the edge of the towel. Using your adjusted ear-to-ear measurement, measure from the top of the plate to the edge of the towel. Move the plate up or down until you get the measurement that you need. Clip the edge of the towel in line with the edge of the plate. Then use pins to mark out the curve of the plate. Then measure from the clip you just made in the towel along the edge of the towel. This is the head circumference halved plus the hair length and seam allowance. So for me, that's 80 centimetres. Mark this end with another clip or a pin. Use a ruler to mark a straight line from the top of the plate curve to about 6 centimetres above the end of the towel wrap, the spot that you just marked. I'm marking mine with pins. It looks here as though I'm leaving seam allowance, but I'm not. I'm just giving myself some room to manoeuvre my scissors. Cut out the shape that you have just marked, making sure that the 2 layers of towel stay aligned along their long edges as you cut. Now we are ready to sew. If you are sewing by hand, you will want to use a whip stitch or a blanket stitch to attach the 2 pieces together along the raw edges. I'm going to be using an overlocker for this job as it creates a seam and binds the raw edges at the same time. If you want to make another hair towel wrap from the centre of the towel, you might like to use an overlocker to neaten the raw edges. Adjust the stitch length so that you have a very short stitch and the resulting edge is quite pleasing. Just 2 more steps to go now. Sew a few stitches over the seam on the top and bottom of the towel wrap to strengthen those points. Lastly, we need to cut and attach some elastic to hold the end of the towel in place. You could use a button and loop, as many store-bought wraps do, but I prefer the elastic loop for a better fit, especially when wrapping long hair. Cut a piece of elastic 12 centimetres long. Fold it in half and mark the centre with a pin. Align the centre of your elastic with your centre seam. Fold the edges under on either side and secure it with some sturdy stitching. I'm using 3 rows of zigzag stitching to spread the tension over a larger area of fabric. And that's it, you're done. Thanks so much for choosing this video. I hope it's what you were looking for. If you gave this project a go, please would you take a moment to leave your thoughts in a comment below? I'm always trying to improve my content and your feedback would be so helpful. Thanks again for watching. Until next time. Bye!